Meeting to order. Maggie, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
Certainly, ladies and gentlemen, I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Larson,
Here.
Cameron,
here.
Dennett,
Here.
Hoffman,
Here.
Mahan,
Here.
Weimer,
Here.
Westwood.
Here.
Minutes of August 13th.
Minutes of the work session of August 13th as presented. Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
On the 13th, we had quite a discussion about the alternatives contract. And at that time, we just kind of said, well, bring somebody that can clarify some of the concerns that we had or answer them. And I just wonder if we can have just a short blurb about that. We got something on everything else that was on there.
Yeah. There will be somebody here tonight.
I'm here
She's
from
here.
alternatives.
It's been taken.
No, this was the
Just on the
13th.
minutes.
Yeah.
She's just on the minutes.
This was just the minutes.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Cameron,
Yes.
Dennett,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Mahan,
Yes.
Weimer,
Yes.
Westwood. Westwood.
Yes.
Move to approve the minutes of the regular session on August 13th as presented with attachments.
August what?
27.
No, we're on
Attachments.
13th. This is the regular meeting.
Regular
Regular
meeting,
meeting.
regular session.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call. Oh, Diane.
There are a couple of things under warrants payable. On the second paragraph, there's a couple extra decimals.
Oh,
and-
is there?
And some extra numbers, I believe.
That's what happens when you craft it in.
And then on the second page, under the talk about the resort tax committee, it said, Mahan said she would like to be the council representative for the resort tax committee, and David said that she would like to be considered also.
That was the same note that I had, so I would move to amend that to.
Okay, I honestly did not hear that. I know you guys had discussed it at the previous meeting, but it was not said at this one, but the motion was made. But
If you didn't hear it on the tape, then I would trust your ears, but.
I can listen to it again, and if it is definitely.
Now, I remember it, Lori had said she was interested, she
And I-
wasn't
and
a
I
business owner, and I said I was interested in coming, and I was.
Okay,
That's
and I could have missed it, so.
What it says here is what I said, yeah.
But it looks like in the minutes that with the absence of her saying, I too am interested, it looks like somebody said I'm interested, and then we all moved to do somebody else, and that's not my recollection.
Okay, well, while you listen to it again.
So, move to approve as amended.
Mhm.
Okay.
Second? Is that what you do?
Okay, so I think we need to have an amendment.
The amendment were the decimals.
Okay, you move to amend.
I move to amend to include the decimals that Councilman Dimmich called out, and to include, if Lonnie's review says so, that Diane also said she would be interested.
Second.
Okay, I have a second. You wanna discuss this anymore? Okay. Let's have a roll call vote on
Thank you for
that
keeping
amendment.
Okay, Cameron,
Yes.
Dennett,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Mahan,
Sure.
Weimer,
Yes.
Westwood.
Yes.
Okay, back to the original. Any more discussion?
Question.
Question? You have to keep Chris' hand back. Roll call vote.
Cameron,
Yes.
Dennett,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Mahan,
Yeah.
Weimer,
Yes.
Westwood.
Yes.
Okay,
Move
minutes.
to approve the minutes of the public hearing of August 27th as presented with multiple attachments.
Second.
Discussion.
I had a question on page 1, second to the last paragraph, where Jody expressed that it was $6,000 to keep the library open at its current hours. There was also a discussion about the time frame, like one was just through November and one was next through February. And I think that's probably germane to the actions we took.
Yes, I agree. And this was, the 6,000 was through February.
The 6,000 was through February. So I move to amend that paragraph to reference that part of the discussion.
I'll second that.
Discussion on that.
Or do I have to wait until there's a motion to do this before I move to amend?
There was already.
There's already-
Okay, then move to amend.
What, I can't find the minutes for that.
Second from the bottom paragraph on page 1.
August 27th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Copy.
No, here, you can, I'll give it to you, the whole thing.
Any more discussion on the amendment? Steve, roll call on the amendment.
Cameron,
Yes.
Dimich,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Mann,
Yeah.
Wingham, Weimer,
Yes.
Westwood.
Yes.
Okay, back to the original. It was moved to approve minutes, discussion. Roll call.
Cameron,
Yes.
Dimich,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Mann,
Yeah.
Weimer,
Yes.
Westwood.
Yes.
And move to approve the, minutes for the working session on August 27th.
Second.
Discussion.
I have a question on this, and it came up earlier. We refer to this as a working session here and in several places, but at the same time, we passed a resolution.
Because it was an action item.
Can we pass resolutions in working sessions?
Yeah, if it's on the agenda.
It was
Yeah.
noticed,
And that was noticed.
but since it kind of flowed all together, I had trouble trying to figure out.
So it wasn't this one, thank you.
But there was a resolution, I mean, you guys did take action on it during that meeting, so that's why it's in there.
Any other discussion on work session, August 27th?
I really like these minutes for this work session.
Okay. Okay.
Everything has a short blurb.
Okay.
About what we did, yeah.
Any other discussion?
Thank you.
Roll call.
Cameron,
Yes.
Dimich,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Mann.
Yep.
Weimer,
Yes.
Westwood.
Yes.
Warrants payable.
Rob and I worked very diligently to sign off on all the warrants, earlier today. There was a total of $849,381.32. The main ones were Northwestern for $13,476.86. Republic Services, $37,039.68. Knife River, $81,300. They're the ones who did the 3-inch asphalt cleanup and all on White Avenue. And in all the years I've lived on White, that stretch from 19th up to the bench has never felt so smooth. It's just like glass. I drive it on purpose just to feel how good it is. It's absolutely wonderful. And hard drives for the Country Club Estates, $291,857.25, and the Country Club Estates residents had voted that they were going to pay for that, so that's reimbursable. But I don't know if that's as good as the White Avenue one. Or the Bearcreek Hill. And then the other one that I would like to mention is we paid an exterminator to remove the ants from Pride Park, $50. Just wanted everybody to know. So we go all the way up and down. So move to approve the warrants for $849,381.32.
Second. I second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Cameron,
Yes.
Dimich,
Oh, yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Mann,
Yes,
Weimer,
Yes.
Westwood.
Yes.
thank you.
Officer reports, you all received that in your packets. Chief, anything you wanna?
No, we're just, still in the hiring process. We had the first applicant that we thought was going to work out, and that did not work out, so we've moved on. We still have another applicant, and we'll be going through the background check, so hopefully soon I'll have a name to present to the council, for our new police officer in town. Yes,
Was he the guy that had some experience?
he was.
Was it dollars related, was it budgetary
No.
constraints related?
No, it was not.
Thank you.
I just have a question.
Yes.
A quick question on this one, Lonnie. I wanted to ask this for a while, but what is the law enforcement catering permits? Are they like,
So when bars come in and get their, catering permits.
oh, okay,
That's what those,
I
that's
just wondered.
their catering permits from.
I just wanna make sure that she's not making money on the side, no, I'm just kidding.
Did you wanna comment on Red Lodge being the
Catering
seventh
events.
safest town in Montana?
What's that?
Did you wanna comment on Red Lodge being the seventh safest town in Montana?
We were last year seventh safest town in Montana. I haven't seen the new polls. Is it the newest version? We've been the seventh safest for a while, which is quite an accomplishment. That's all cities counted throughout the state of Montana. So I pride our officers on doing a good job. We had a meeting, actually, emergency meeting the other day, and a person had made arrangements to pay for a wheelbarrow and pick it up after hours. One of our officers caught the person who was picking up the wheelbarrow after hours, and the owner was thankful that we patrol his area to make sure that we're doing it. So our officers are diligent, they are out and they're about, and doing a good job for us.
So take your receipt with you when you go to pick up your wheelbarrow.
They actually wrote on the receipt, we'll pick up after hours, so they had it all covered. Move on to mayor comments. Just want to say that we have an opening on the airport board. We had a resignation of Willis Kaufman. We have received one name already, and we are posting that.
And Willis has been there for a long time, and he's always paid attention to it. He's been a good member of that. I understand, once his wife died, it made it a little bit easier for him to travel, so. His wife had multiple sclerosis or something. She was wheelchair bound, and it was pretty tough. So we need to thank Willis for his long term of participation on the airport board.
Move on to public.
One of his dear little
I'll
members.
give them- I'll take that.
Yeah.
Move on to public comments. Anyone may address the council at this time on any topic within the city's jurisdiction, not specifically on this agenda. Okay, we'll close that. We'll move on to old business, the MOU between city, BRTA, and Beartooth Clinic for the wellness trail.
This is an MOU between BRTA, the Beartooth Wellness Clinic, and the city to further describe maintenance issues and of the new trail. The trail will be open to the public for 25 years as part of a RTP GNRC grant. BRTA has agreed to do the maintenance on the trail. The city, we don't really have to do anything other than what we would normally do. If we were to have to dig into the trail for any reason, for a water line, sewer line, we would repair it. Other than that, we're not too involved with it. The MOU would take effect once all parties sign it. I don't believe anybody else has signed it. I believe we'd be the first one. And the 25-year commitment would commence after all parties signed the agreement. So we could take our time and extend it out.
Meg, is there anything you would like to say on?
No, James, you captured it well. We really just want to include the city because you have that wet utility that runs under the very last segment of the trail up at the top of the bench adjacent to Pine Ridge Road. Jim Bushnell's been out a few times, and I think we just want it kind of immortalized in a recorded MOU so that 20 years down the road, when most of us may not still be in these seats, that's acknowledged.
Several times through this, there is reference to just Beartooth, and I believe it is meaning Beartooth Billings Clinic. So for an example, Beartooth shall is on page 2, so we have BRTA shall, city shall, Beartooth shall. I believe that's probably talking about Beartooth Billings Clinic and BBC.
That's correct, Dave. If you read the very first paragraph at the end, BRTA is in quotes as, and that very end of that sentence, Beartooth Recreational Trails, that's the BRTA. And Memorial Hospital Association, DBA, Beartooth Billings Clinic, yada, 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 herein after referred to as Beartooth. So
Okay,
I guess if your attorney,
okay.
That's
Has-
explained in the first
Yeah,
paragraph.
and I missed that there, thank you. The other thing that I had a question on is on page 3, kind of keeping in the consistencies with what Beartooth Billings Clinic shall. Number 6, not be required to plow or manually, so we talk about a whole bunch of things they should do, and then we call out that they're not required to plow it in snow, and my thinking was at the very least, we ought to move that to the end, or maybe even if it went into a different section, I'd defer to the city attorney on that, but it didn't fit in with they shall, oh, by the way, they don't have to do this, they shall.
Are you saying that you wanted to say they shall not be required?
Oh, there you go.
We probably need to have a motion on the floor and then we can adjust it.
I just wanted to clarify what David's.
To the mayor's point, I move to approve the memorandum of understanding between Beartooth Billings Clinic, the city of Red Lodge, and Beartooth Recreational Trails Association.
Second.
Now we have discussion.
Now we've had the discussion, and Lori, your suggestion was,
If we want to make that more clear, number 6, Beartooth shall not be required to plow, et cetera, et cetera.
Is that a motion?
Yes,
I'll second.
okay,
Easy
so that's
fix.
that's an amendment.
yeah.
So, and seconded, discussion on the amendment.
Is that satisfied, Steve?
I would also like to see, and I don't know if we do it under separate, I'd like to see it move to the end of the list because it's different in nature.
make the motion.
I move to amend the amendment to move number 6 to the bottom of the list.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion
Bottom of
on
the
the
list?
second amendment.
What did you say?
Wasn't moved down in.
Yeah, to the bottom of
To
the
the
list?
bottom of the list.
To the bottom of which list?
Of the
It'll
number
become-
9.
Of the
Number
general
9.
provisions?
No, just it'll become after the current number 9 of that section.
It'll become the number 9.
Why do you wanna do that?
Just because it's so different from everything else, they shalls.
Okay, any other discussion on that? We're moving it to the bottom. Okay, roll call.
We need to vote?
Let's vote on it. Roll call.
Okay, this is on moving to the bottom one.
Yeah,
Moving to the bottom.
and saying shall, no.
No, that's
No.
next.
Moved it to the bottom of
sorry.
that
So
section.
many amendments. Okay, Cameron?
Yes.
Dimich?
No.
That's no.
That's all right. You can do it, no.
Hoffman?
Yes.
Mahan?
Peculiar, but yes.
Boomer?
Agreed.
Yes.
Okay. Now we're working on the,
The amendment on the moving, or.
Shall not.
Shall not.
the shall not. Okay,
Shall
any
not
discussion on the
be
shall not?
required, yeah.
I don't
Diane,
really think we need it, because it says Beartooth shall with a semi, or what is it called?
Yeah.
Colon thing.
okay, we have a motion that's been seconded. Is everybody ready to vote on this?
Yep.
Okay,
Cameron?
Yes.
Dimich?
No.
Hoffman?
Yes.
Mahan?
Yes,
Beamer?
Yes.
Clifford?
Yes.
now we move back to the original
I see your
motion.
point.
You can see.
Um,
So it'll say
Diane's right.
Beartooth, it'll say Beartooth shall, and then
It's gonna say
Beartooth
Beartooth
shall not.
It just,
Shall not.
Diane's right of what she's saying, because you have Beartooth
Oh,
shall,
shall.
colon, And so when if James just switches 6 and 9, it's still gonna say Beartooth shall
Shall.
not be required to.
Shall, that's the point I was trying to make,
So
but anyway.
you just need to swap 6 and 9.
Okay, all
No
right, roll call
On the main motion.
on the main.
Cameron.
Yes.
Stevens.
Yes.
Hoffman.
Yes.
Mahan.
Yes.
Weimer.
Yes.
Westland.
Yes.
Good. Alternatives contracts, we have a representative here. If you would like to come up to the podium and speak on your contract. I know you talked to some of the department heads also.
And I'm here on behalf of my supervisor, Amanda Green. She's the one who came and met with people, I believe last week. I'm not positive, but my name's Justina Goldhahn. I'm a pretrial supervision officer for alternatives in Billings. And so I just wanted to come and I guess answer any questions that you might have or talk about the programs that we offer. So what would you guys like to know, or how can I assist in this decision?
So, Chief.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's quite fine. I'll speak on behalf of the panel. It was the judge, the city attorney, and myself did meet with them. It was a very productive meeting. We learned a lot about alternatives that some of the stuff I did not know. It was a very good meeting to sit and be able to sit and converse and talk. And we were able to have our questions answered, such as the fee that we did not know what it was for. And that fee's been there for a while and we have been paying it, but we were not aware of that. So it's not an additional or new fee. I think all of us, Becky can correct me if she doesn't agree with me, but I believe all of us are very positive towards this contract and would throw our full support behind alternatives contract and would ask you to support that.
Okay.
There's-
Like that.
I just wanted to throw in, there were services that, Amanda explained to all of us that we weren't aware of that will be so good for our courts and for monitoring. Sometimes a lot of times people come in, have no job. They have a supervision pretrial program that people can go into to help them with that. So there's just so many things that we didn't know were available to us to use. So and they did provide me with that list, like an explanation of it, because all we had that day was just the form the judge fills out. So he and I both were very like, oh, really, this is good. So we are looking forward to it.
We just offer to our guests that this is a way different conversation than the first time it came back when everybody said, what is this? And I have no idea. And so lessons for future, it's a really good idea to make sure people know when you send the invoice, send an explanation.
For sure, I completely agree.
I mean, they sent me like all the programs that y'all want a copy of it. I didn't bother you, but it was a lot of pages, but if you would like to see it, I have it.
Questions from the council?
Thanks for coming out.
You're welcome.
I don't have any questions, but thank you for stepping up to do this. I think it's a great help to our police department, our city attorney, and to the community, to the people who might be involved in this. I think your program is good, I think it's sound, and I think that we feel comfortable with that.
Thank you. We really enjoy working with your community, so anytime you need us to come or ask us questions, we are readily available.
And there just might be some.
That's
not
We appreciate Lindsay.
Yeah, we do.
Yes,
I work with
We all
Lindsay
love
in the
Lindsay.
same building and she's a delight.
yes, good. And she wanted to be here, but she had school, so that's why I'm here on her behalf as well.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
thank you.
I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve the purchase of services contract with alternatives.
Second.
Any other discussion on this? Everybody's comfortable? Roll call.
Cameron.
Yes.
Stevens.
Yes.
Hoffman.
Yes.
Mahan.
Yes,
Weimer.
Yes.
Westland.
Yes.
okay.
New business, resolution 3528.
Do we have an updated version from the city attorney? Or wait,
This
This
is still bonds.
Wrong
This
with
is
it.
still the bonds. The
that's,
sale of
oh,
bonds.
352, okay, that's the one I had over here first, sorry. I got some.
I'll entertain a motion.
I
Move
move
to
to
a-
approve resolution 3528, authorizing issuance of sale of bonds.
second it.
She's not done yet.
Discussion.
Looks good. Thanks for printing on both sides.
Yeah, thanks.
A really huge document. Good job, good job.
I move to amend the, motion to add pending review of city attorney.
Second.
Any discussion on that? Amendment?
Is it necessary?
He wants to make an amendment that just says we.
Review, the city attorney review it.
Oh,
Okay, roll call.
On the amendment.
On the amendment.
Cameron,
Yes.
Dimmitt,
Do we get to still vote on it tonight? Pending the review?
Yes, yes.
Sure, yes.
Hoffman,
yes.
Mahan,
Yes.
Weimer,
Yes.
Westbrook.
Yes.
Back to the original motion. Discussion on the roll call.
Cameron,
Yes.
Dimmitt,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Mahan,
Yes.
Weimer,
Yes.
Westbrook.
Yes.
Resolution 3530, transfer of funds to general fund reserve.
I had it.
All right.
fixed, But I couldn't get this to print from there, but I can go upstairs if you want me to go upstairs.
Let's print it off.
Hook back up. But I did change it to the last whereas is 15 and the therefore be it resolved. I just didn't wanna run out of money.
No, we'll give you time to print that off, so we'll have a
Okay.
clean copy.
Is that the only two places? No, it's three. This one. Oh, okay. Then I didn't get it correct. I'll be right back.
You can take action on it.
Do you wanna see the clean copy, or are you good with?
Good.
Okay.
Okay, move to approve resolution 3530, transfer of funds to general fund reserves.
Second.
Comments? Just the corrections, right?
Yep.
Good
So
with
so
that?
that's as
Three
amended.
spots.
As,
Well, it's
Well,
gonna be
we'll
in
have a
front of
clean
us,
copy.
clean it.
well, a clean copy.
Yeah.
Okay? Roll call.
Cameron,
Yes.
Dimmitt,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Mahan,
Yes.
Weimer,
Yes.
Westbrook.
Yes.
Reports from the public. This is an opportunity for any member of the public to report to the council on any topic that they desire. Rod, you're the only one left. I don't-
Nothing at this time.
Nothing.
We'll close that. We'll talk about correspondence.
Not very much.
Been quiet here. Okay. Other business? Yes, Doug.
I was visiting with Becky the other day when I came and picked all this up about nepotism when I got to vote for my brother for the,
Mm-hmm.
and she said that needed to be addressed in something signed or
Right.
that's.
And we'll get that to you.
Okay.
Right. We'll make sure of that.
I got something else on other business. When can we expect the recycling center lease to come before us?
We talked to Gina yesterday, and we're still working on the hazardous waste part of it. And I think Becky and Gina had come to a decision on that.
So at the next
I
action
can't guarantee it,
meeting,
they have a lawyer involved too, so.
who's paying the bills and who's liable for?
They are.
They are?
They're paying those.
So how about any kind of, do we have anything signed about indemnity or insurance? Anything should happen?
I believe that's where they're having another set of.
They have insurance at this time. We've
Have they
received that.
indemnified the city?
Yes, they did.
Do we have that in writing?
We got that from Gina, remember? We sent that back to her because she didn't have the indemnification.
That's right.
And yes, we did
We
receive
should
that
get
back.
the full package ultimately, right?
Yes.
I got to visit with her for a second when we left the meeting the last time, and she mentioned that they can recycle glass now. They have a place where they can sell it.
Really?
Yeah, and I was just wondering, do they advertise that sort of thing that the community knows?
They should.
And I saw where the road got straightened up and fill put in there, and it looked today when
Those guys did that.
on it.
They're
On it.
today.
I have another thing I'd like to ask. Has the city purchased a membership
No,
to
I talked to
recycle?
her about that yesterday also,
Okay.
and I will be getting one.
Oh, for the city?
Yeah.
Oh, good, because that was a discussion during the sustainability board that the city employees were using the sustainability coordinator's personal membership. And I just think it would
I think so.
be better for the city to get that on, especially a $300 business one, so that we can, cardboard, it's just.
That's just amazing if they found somebody to recycle glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause they don't do it in my
Let's
town.
carry on with other business. Yes.
Mayor, I had a question regarding, the Energy Corp position and an MOU. There was some question, and I know you had reached out to the city clerk to find out if it was something that needed to come before council for us to approve, and it was determined at that point that it was not, but I think the question came up, do we still need to do an MOU with AmeriCorp? Or what is, I guess the question is, do we have any open I's to be dotted or T's to be crossed?
We have a contract yet to get.
And that will come before council?
I would definitely do that.
Okay, well, the reason I ask is my understanding is that pending that approval, just to make council aware, my understanding is that the position was offered, so we have extended an offer to that person, so we should work to rectify and make sure we close any issues quickly. That was my concern.
I was just wondering on, like, when we do officer reports on the first of the month, first meeting of the month, is it possible to get, it doesn't have to be anything really heavily detailed, but just a little blurb about what's going on in planning, or a little blurb about what's going on in public works, so that we all have the same information?
I would like you guys to do that, I really would. I mean, you're assigned to the police, Mike was hooked up, that way you would be involved with, Micah, you'd be involved with Jim to say, hey, this is what's going on here, here, and here.
One of the things though, when we discussed having our meetings this way was so that the chief could come before us and everybody would hear the same information at the same time, and not the spin of a council person's. Does that make sense? I mean, chief brings his report forward, but.
I like the idea of the department heads defending their department as opposed to a council person as well. I don't mean defending in a negative way. No,
So I think it's just giving us an update about what
It's
they're
like,
doing.
I don't mean that negative, it's like defending a thesis, for your
Yeah,
masters. That's not a bad thing, it's just you're explaining.
Well, right now, we're making, hanging out look impossible to drive up.
And you're doing a fine job of it.
You should go try to pick up Mary.
Yeah, really. I was like, I'll just drop breadcrumbs, but.
But I can't
It'd be a
explain why
different-
they worked all weekend anticipating the paving starting Monday, but when the rain comes, the pavers won't pave with the rain, because we pave on wet ground to bring some moisture up and then soften the ground, and then it's, they're required.
Then it looks like white.
So then it would turn wavy, so, but they're continuing to prep it so that when they do get the weather to pave, they can move right through and get the whole thing done, so.
I heard the beeping all weekend.
Yeah, even Sunday.
Rebecca, did you get a clean copy of that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's going around. Mr. Wainwright.
Mr. Weaver found it.
Oh, okay.
He thought it was just a big stack of rolling papers.
Mr. Weaver wanted to keep all of them for himself.
I did front and back.
He needed more paperwork, right?
I have one more question. Do we all need to sign the alternatives contract? Because all of our names are on it.
No.
The last copy.
Oh, the last copy?
Yeah.
Probably needs to be
Sorry,
signed.
But Mr. Wainwright.
Number 13, you're up.
I move to adjourn.
Wait, we have to pass this
Second.
resolution,
We are-
right?
We already
Oh, did we?
did.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, we got it.
Second?
Any second on the adjourning?
I said,
Okay.
second, yeah.
Roll call.
We did roll call on adjourned.
We did roll call on everything else tonight. I don't know why we don't do that. Adjourn. We're out of here.